So I want to bring Jeff in at this point because he's kind of the historian in the pack even more than I am. And just before we turn to alternatives, let's think about when it wasn't always this way. Jeff, have we always behaved this way? Has it always been the case that cuts have always been there because of the constraint of the budget, the way that Stephanie described it? Or whether there was ever a period in which cuts was not the automatic answer? Are we, in a sense, tilting at windmills because this is just the way things are? Or have there been different pathways in the past?
Well, Mark, I mean, the New Deal, for one. So we had this crisis, of course, in the 1930s, which was quite severe. And we saw during the New Deal that in my system, the University of Wisconsin, the state of Wisconsin did not cut the University of Wisconsin's budget. In fact, it increased it. And these New Deal investments then went to pay off in terms of equity delivered to the state of Wisconsin and its people for decades, in terms of adding all of these valuable capacities, buildings, labs, newly trained people. All of this new capacity was built and installed, and it increased productivity, again, going forward for decades. But, you know, in terms of thinking of analogies, and as Luz was saying before, I think just as much as we need a New Deal for education, we need a Marshall Plan even more. So, you know, we've had 4 decades of the erosion of society. You know, even if the Iron Lady said that society never existed, I think we did have it here in Wisconsin. And now we're at this inflection point where too many people are living on the margins. Many are really angry. They're bereft of prospects for a better future. They don't have any kind of access to education. It's gotten very expensive, you know, even in the public higher educational institutions. And they are not really able to make sense of the world. And what they have instead of education is exposure to Fox News, you know, Breitbart, etc. They have all of these, you know, people at the extreme. And we have, as we've just seen recently, guys showing up at our state capitals in the Midwest here, Wisconsin, Michigan, etc., with military assault rifles using very threatening language. I think it's time that we start to think about Mark Twain here. And while, you know, he said that history doesn't repeat itself, it can rhyme. And today's tune sounds a lot like the 1930s in Central Europe today. So I think we need to think about making those renewed investments in our higher educational sector, and especially in the public higher educational sector.
Okay.